Well, I'm here again with Tom and Rollie. We talked a little bit last week, and I got these guys back in for a second interview. Talk a little bit more about Young Jedi. Of course, we're getting ever closer, so nice to see you again, guys.
Hi, it's great to be here.
So, tell me a little bit more about the development of Young Jedi, Rollie, and what that was like, and what your first concepts were.
Well, like I mentioned earlier, we first researched from the internet as much details about the movie as we could, and then we actually tried to construct the movie with pictures and text, and then Tom and I put together a little show with popcorn and
yeah, I was there. I remember that. It was so funny.
Do you remember how close we came?
You were pretty close, I think. Certainly in areas you were close.
Mm-hmm.
It was all done in like Word or something, and projected onto the wall at the PD house, and we all sat there, and it was very, very funny. Yeah. And I remember us all saying, and this is months ago, wow, you know, in a year or so's time, we're all going to be sitting in the theatre with real popcorn and watching the real movie and laughing at, you know, where we were close and where we were way off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of things were way off, but I think the goal of that was to give us all a feel for what the movie was going to be so that we could try to get the right feel in the game. And, of course, that's always the goal for these type of games.
So, now, the other thing that was really different about Young Jedi is who you were developing for, or the prime target group. What did it feel like when Warren said to you, well, first of all, we're going to do a game for 9 to 13-year-olds?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Was that a bit of a shock or a big challenge?
It's what I was hoping for, actually. I've been wanting, the classic game is so rich in its details. I was hoping for a game that was simpler, that it appealed to a broader market, at least for what Young Jedi.
And I think we've achieved that. Do you feel we've achieved that?
Oh, absolutely. I'm very excited about the game design, and can hardly wait to have it get out there and have people start poking at it, and looking for flaws, things that we've got to go back in and correct, but I don't think there are any.
Well, you know, if there are, they'll find them, and they'll find them very quick, but, you know, they have fun doing that.
They're good at it, too.
Yeah. It's the energy and the excitement around it's going to be great to see. It's not just going to be a game for 9 to 13-year-olds. It's going to be a game for everybody at lunchtime in particular. I can guarantee that.
I like it myself a lot. It has less detail than a full-blown CCG would have, but it has quite a bit, and it's very streamlined and quick, which is what I like. You can play several games. It's a lot of fun.
As a game player myself, I actually like games that have simpler rules, but still allow for the depth of strategy.
Yeah.
And that's what I liked about Penta so much.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I like the fact that you can play a number of games in succession really, really quickly, and so if you get completely and utterly defeated, as I often do in the first 1 or 2, you know, you still feel that each new game is like a fresh chance. Yeah, that's great. So I can't ask you too much about the game, although we are so close now. We're probably within a few weeks of this game being on the shelves. Is it similar to the classic game in any way? Is there any kind of similarity?
Destiny numbers are still in there.
Okay.
Yeah. It's still location-based.
And that's very much a trademark, so yeah.
Right.
And force is, you know, depleting force is the goal of the game.
Those are probably the pinnacles, you know, that will be in all of our games. Our trademark, our hallmark.
Of our Star Wars games, yeah. Now, when you were working on the concept development and also on the implementation, I know with Warren and with the rest of the team, Bill and Jerry, and then Chuck and Tom and all the other guys, Sandy, and all the guys that came in and play tested. And, you know, Warren, who's a fairly hard taskmaster, I was present at a couple of those debates, and it always seemed to me that there was this wonderful tension between the story and the game. Did that influence things a lot?
And between the designers.
And that too, creative conflict. So do you find that a challenge that you have to stay with the story, but it has to work as a game?
Yeah, we try to maximize both of those, and Warren is the type of person that won't compromise in any way on either one of those. So it's always a very big challenge. And in addition, we have the challenge of keeping the game absolutely as simple and easy to learn and quick to play at the same time. So there's really 3 things that we had to try to maximize as difficult.
Yeah. And you think you achieved that?
I think so.
And making the cards collectible.
Yeah, talk about the collectability a bit, because I know my personal belief is that everybody on the planet's some kind of collector, but what are your particular collections? Tom, I know you have one or two things you collect.
Yeah, I inherited a few years ago a coin collection started by my grandfather about 150 years ago. And it's a big mess, but I've been trying to organize it, and I'm kind of getting into that a little bit. And I also collect brass naval instruments of various kinds.
Do you have those on your boat? Because I know you have a big boat. I've been on it.
No, although I often think about mounting them somewhere on the boat, but I don't really have it well organized. I'm one of those people that just collects things and
pack rat.
You're a pack rat collector.
Yeah. What about you, Rollie?
The only thing I like to collect is travel experience.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, your things are more abstract and less material. I've noticed that.
Yeah, I don't really care for material goods. I'm not a pack rat at all. I just love to travel around.
Yeah, you guys went to the was it the Eclipse or something a couple of years ago?
In the Caribbean, actually, that was earlier this year, wasn't it?
Last year.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. Are you going to go to the next one?
That's coming up in England, your home country.
Is it really? When's that?
This summer.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, well, that's a nice place to be. So yeah.
It might be cloudy though.
It's always cloudy in England. Always.
Maybe if we got on a boat out in the middle of the English Channel.
No, that's even cloudier.
Oh, okay.
You need a rocket to see the eclipse.
Well, in that case, we'll just go to London and hit the pubs.
Cool. So, talk about the collectability of Young Jedi. What makes it so much fun to collect?
Well, for people that collect for visual reasons, I think it'll be really appealing because it's an extremely colorful game. When you compare the Episode 1 movie with the original trilogy movies, which are rather gray and dark a lot of the times, I think it's a much more colorful, and the YJ cards reflect that. The characters are just really stand out. I think the art department did a great job, and people like that.
Yeah, Dan Burns seems to be very pleased with the fact that YJ is so much more colorful.
Well, if Dan's pleased, I'm sure everybody else will, because, like Warren, he's a hard taskmaster when it comes to the visual. And we've hinted at some of the other collectability issues with Young Jedi. We've never numbered cards before, but we've numbered them in Young Jedi. We've never put rarity icons on cards before, but we've done that on Young Jedi. I think all of that's going to help enormously with the collector.
Right.
And also, Young Jedi is not going to be an impossible dream to collect because the set size is small. When we launched Star Wars Classic, that was how many cards in the premiere of Star Wars Classic? 324. 324. I've got somebody waving at me. 324, and this is going to be. There's 140 in the first Young Jedi. Spread across the starters and the boosters.
Well, Young Jedi benefits from the fact that we learn so much from classics that we can implement all of these factors that you mentioned to make a game that appeals to everybody as fully as possible.
And I think it will.
It's also a much more completable collection than the typical CCG is, because it's much more closed.
Well, I know we've planned 3 expansions now. Of course, I'm a great one for never say never at Decipher. So, I would not say that there will never be another expansion for Young Jedi. But at the moment, we've planned the 3, and in fairly quick succession, I believe.
And when you get those 3, you'll feel like you have a complete whole.
Yes, but who knows where it'll go beyond that? It's going to be fun to see. So what are you guys working on now? I guess Young Jedi is pretty much put to bed for you.
Yeah, we have been working on some other Decipher projects that we've been doing actually over the past 8 or 9 months. We did a game called Girl Power.
I love it.
And that's actually selling very well. That was really interesting project.
That was a different one for us.
Was that your first girls' product?
For young girls, 8 to 10, 12 years old, to get inside their heads, that was a different experience, and going to all those focus groups.
I know. I was part of the playtesting, although I'm not 8 to 10, but I was part of the playtesting, and I think you guys did a great job. And I know the focus groups results also proved that. That's a really neat board game.
Well, it's mainly concept driven. You know, the package and the name is what's going to sell it off the shelves, and So Cindy Thornburg did a great job with that, and we're honored that she turned it over to us. And we just wanted a gameplay system that was simple and yet original, that was still appealing enough to have some resale, and apparently it's reselling very well.
It's doing really well. Now, what else have you done for Decipher recently? There's another little CCG you've worked on, I believe.
Yeah, Cindy's group also got the license to the Animorphs series, which is a children series of books that's extremely popular, and also has a new Saturday morning TV show, live action. And so we did sort of a small CCG for it. It's not really a full CCG, but it's a card game with similar deck construction type elements to it, and that was a lot of fun. That's coming out soon.
Great. And I guess you'll be working on the next 2 expansions for Young Jedi, or is that really in Bill and Jerry's hands?
It's mainly in their hands, but we're starting to work conceptually on the next major Star Wars product.
The full-fledged CCG,
right.
yeah,
which come out later this year.
Towards the end of the year.
Yeah, we've actually, during the process of YJ and the other Star Wars things, we've always been thinking about that and building up towards that, but we had to finish the others first.
Right.
So it's been kind of on the back burner for a few months while we're getting the others done, and then we're going to head forward on those.
And also, something we've not really talked about very much on Radio Free or on the website, you guys also worked on a box game for Episode 1 that Cindy's group, the non-card game group, are going to be selling, which has, it's called Episode 1 Customizable Card Game, but it's a self-contained box game. Can you tell us something about that?
Yeah, it's something that I really like. It's all self-contained with customizability. It's meant for the mass market, and it's very simple. But
simpler than Young Jedi?
Oh, yes.
More of a family game.
Yeah, it's very much a family game. It's for 4 players, 2 to 4 players. And it's also very quick, but has quite a different feel to it. I personally like it a lot. Rollie and I, play it for fun ourselves.
And how many cards?
I think there's 160. Is that right? Yeah.
And it's all self-contained in one box, but you can customize.
Yeah, it comes in 4 preset decks of 40 cards that you play right out of the box. But then it has very simple rules for doing your own customization in ways that the mass market can handle, where they don't have to put too much thought into it. It's a much simplified type of customizing.
But it's a good way, I guess, to introduce people to some of the elements of customization and lead them on to Young Jedi, which would seem to be the perfect next step.
And then Young Jedi will lead on to the big game.
Well, that sounds like a plan. But I have seen that, and it looks beautiful. I think we had the first production boxes in yesterday, and I saw them in the office, and it really looks amazing. All the characters from Episode 1 on the box, and so I wanted to introduce that to our listeners, because some people have heard about it from distributors or resellers, and there's some confusion about what the connection is. So I think we need to make it clear that it is an introductory game, but it's not compatible. It's not part of the Young Jedi universe. It's not part of the classic universe, and it won't be part of the fully fledged Episode 1 CCG universe. It stands alone, but it's a wonderful family game. A great way to introduce everybody into the family to what customizing a deck means, and then lead them into Young Jedi if they want to actually get into a collectible phenomenon.
Right.
That sounds great. So you obviously got your hands full for some considerable time, and I guess at some point you'll start thinking about Episode 2, although I dread to say that before any of us have really seen Episode 1. But
I'm already thinking about the sequel.
Well, not you maybe, but George isn't, as he's stated quite a lot recently. Well, it's going to be another guessing game, because, that's another movie. At least we're going to know what's in Episode 1, 100%, after May 19th now. Not very far to go.
Right. Well, it'll be fun. In addition to trying to guess the next 2 movies, it's also going to be fun for everyone to try to guess how they're going to connect up with the original trilogy, which...
For example, a big mystery for me is in the third of the existing movies, it comes as a big surprise to the audience that Vader is Luke's father. So how is he going to preserve that surprise for anybody that watches all 6 movies when they're all out together?
Well, I think we'll just forget. I know, it's going to be fun. The other thing that fascinates me is not only after the movie's out, waiting for episode 2, but given what happened with the classic after the release of those 3 movies, the way that universe was built by the likes of West End Games with all their role-playing stuff, all the novelizations and the extra books, the Timothy Zahn and the comic series, and of course all of that's going to happen with episode 1 as well. So it'll be interesting to watch that previous generation part of the universe of Star Wars grow, and all that secondary but canonical material begin to be developed. It's going to be fascinating to watch.
Especially since Lucasfilm seems to be determined to be much more organized about it this time. They've made plans on how to keep everything in line and make sure all the various licensees are doing the same thing.
Yeah, it's an amazing myth to be creating. Well, I think we're running out of time. We don't like to make these recordings too long because of the download issues that people have. So I'm going to close off here for today. Thanks for coming, guys.
Thanks.
Our pleasure.
Enjoyed it.